The top 5 mistakes that new eBay resellers make that cost them time, cost them money, that get them frustrated, that make them want to quit. Hello everybody, welcome back to the cabin. Welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. This is a bit of a different type of a video. It's mainly for new resellers, but I want some of you old pros to hang around because this is about mistakes that new eBay resellers, new resellers I suppose, make. But I want the old pros out there, those of you who've been doing it for many years, to hang around for a couple of reasons. One is because this is just my opinions, and everybody has a different viewpoint. Everybody's selling different things, and there's a lot of things I don't remember, and a lot of things that you might not agree with that you could talk about in the comments below and give the new resellers kind of a better picture of it. So I've got a list of what I think are the top 5 mistakes that new eBay resellers make that cost them time, cost them money, that get them frustrated, that make them want to quit, that kind of thing. And of course, I've got the runners up as well. I've got a short little list here of the runners up, and I'm just going to mention them really quick. And I want those of you who've done it a while, maybe you're not a new reseller, maybe you've been doing it a year or two, and you're really fresh with these concerns, and you've just come through it, and now you feel like you know what you're doing, and maybe you can add to the runners up list here as well. Do I hear a cat back there? Pepper's been with me all day here. It's like a dog. All right, here we go. So not testing things, that was somebody's suggestion the other day, is they'll buy stuff and not test them and sell them. Okay. Taking bad pictures, which I'm guilty of that sometimes, to be honest with you. Some things don't need great pictures. It's just, not that I take them bad on purpose, but sometimes Blue Ridge Mom's in here taking pictures, so I find somewhere else to take it. Late shipments, definitely. That's for all of us, I suppose. But certainly people who aren't used to the schedule of it sometimes can send some stuff out late, and then it kind of hurts you early on. No inventory system. I don't know. I'll take you back there and let you look at mine in a minute. If you're new to the channel, of course. Listing items for too high of a price. And I think that is true is for new resellers. You don't want to really undercut the market, but why would somebody buy from you instead of buying from somebody who's got just tons of feedback, been selling forever, if your prices are higher? So you need to be competitive. Overbuying, buying what you think sells. And that's true of a lot of us when we first start. You just have these assumptions, hey, this is worth money. Well, you'll come to find out that a lot of things that people think are worth money are worth nothing. And people that think that something is worth nothing is worth something. I find that out every day. Spending money at all on inventory at the very beginning can be a mistake, especially, if you have your own inventory. You hear that all the time. And scammers at the beginning, falling for a certain scam. So those are my runners up. Add some to that, but you got to hear the top 5 first before you add to that. Oh, I've got one more. Starting a YouTube channel. Do you really need to start a YouTube channel? I see, they're like, well, you get all your sales from YouTube. No, look, I do get sales from YouTube, don't get me wrong, but it is usually, if you look over the course of a week, it's under 15% of the sales. Some days might be as high as 25%. Some days there's none, or maybe 1. So, that's a really bad way to start an eBay store, in my opinion. Plus, who's going to watch an eBay reseller who hasn't done anything, unless you're documenting your journey for others to follow and to learn from you. Really quickly, before I start the top 5, I've got to hunt down this cat here and get rid of this cat. But while I'm doing it, I'll show you my SKU system that I use. And it's not the best, and it's not even perfect, but it's something. Look at this. Come on, there you are. You're not supposed to be in the inventory. Come on, you're not part of the SKU system. That's why I can't let cats in here, y'all. All right, let me get her out, and then we'll start our video. Number 5 here on my list is spending too much on equipment when you start. You don't even know if you're going to continue to do this, 3 months from now, 5 months from now. There's no sense in spending money on a camera, on giant lights and photo backdrops and all that stuff. I just don't think it's necessary. You can use Photo Room. It's an app I like to use. And, you could just use a solid background. Use your camera. To this day, the only thing I do on my computer for eBay is print the label. And that is it. It's the only thing. Well, I put things on sale and I do things like that. But basically, what I use that computer for eBay is shipping. Even tape. So, you know, I buy tape, just buy giant boxes of tape, tons of bubble wrap. You know, I buy all kinds of stuff. I buy boxes by the hundreds. And you just don't need to do that. I would suggest not, and you hear me in here doing the show and you're like, oh, well, I got to buy, you know, 200 5 by 5 by 5. No, you don't. No, you don't. Now, if you start to ramp it up, it becomes efficient and actually better for you to do that. But it's not better for the bottom line at the beginning to do any such thing. Go hunt for your boxes, go find them, because you're only going to be selling a few things a day. You know, I'll sell, you know, sometimes 100 things a week out of here, if not more. Probably more, actually, now that I think about it, some weeks. And, you know, at that point, I can't go searching for the right size box all the time. It's costing me too much time. You know, thermal printers. You know, I'd love for you to use my affiliate link for a thermal printer, but you don't really need one yet. Just use paper. You don't even need the sticky stuff. Just use paper and tape it on when you're starting. Once you know you're going to do it and you love it and you're going to ramp it up, then go ahead and you can start making those investments. I would say maybe one thing that if you're pretty sure you're going to start, let me grab it. Now I have a blue one right here. This is the 13 by 10. I have a box right here. Yeah, I have a box right here. There's a quantity of 1,000 here of these mailers, the 10 by 13. That's going to last me a long time. It's my favorite size poly mailer, but you don't even need to buy all those. They sell them by the, you know, packages, like 100, and they give you different sizes. Maybe the poly mailers, because you got to find something that's cost effective to ship, and those are a lot lighter than a box. So if you are going to buy something early on, that's probably what I would buy. That's the one thing. I mean, there's a few other things you might need, you know, a razor blade, and you need some tape. You know, and I don't suggest going to, you know, Lowe's or Walmart or whatever to buy your tape because it's expensive. But at the beginning, you know, just go buy a 3-pack as you're starting until you know exactly what it is you want to do. I forgot to mention one more thing in regard to supplies, and that's this. Go ahead and go to USPS.com and open your little account over there and get all the free stuff they sent you for priority mail. Now, you don't want to send everything priority mail. You got to learn how to do your shipping. But you can certainly get these free boxes. That brings me to number 4 on the list, and that's just shipping mistakes. And I don't necessarily mean shipping things out. I mean making mistakes that cost you money. And this isn't easy to learn. But there's a couple little mistakes I think that new eBay resellers make. And one of them is offering free shipping on items that they can't control the cost on. In other words, an item that's not small enough to fit in a particular region A or B box, or a flat rate box, or a flat rate envelope, and so you don't have a control on it, and therefore if somebody buys it in the wrong location, wrong meaning far away, you're going to end up paying a lot more than you thought for shipping. The other mistake in that same vein right there is miscalculating the shipping. So you put in your calculations for shipping and it's not right. You're underestimating the weight. My boy started to sell totally on his own not too long ago. And when he came in here and we started doing it, he's like, why is it always over what I put in there? I'm like, well, because you're putting it in there for the weight of whatever it is, but you're not, you know, calculating how much it is going to be to package the item up. And he's like, oh yeah, it makes sense. So he's learning, and he's learned a little bit, and he knows what he's doing a little bit better now. So one little quick rule of thumb you can use here is just take it and whatever the item is and be like, okay, I'm shipping this thing out, right? Well, that's going to ship out at just put 2 pounds. It's a 2-pound rate, because you're not putting that in a box for 1.3 ounces, and you're not putting it in an envelope because you're not going to ship that thing in a poly mailer. So you're just going to put 2 pounds, and that's what you're going to have to calculate. Now, for this, I wouldn't even care about the dimensions, but if you have something that's a little bit bigger that might go over that 1 cubic foot, you just got to add 2 inches to each side because you've got to package that thing. And that should be enough. So putting in big enough specs for the calculated shipping so you don't cost yourself a lot of money. The next thing is not doing your homework on a particular item. So when you're buying, you know, people, well, you hear it all the time, right? They're checking the comps, but they're not checking the sold comps. They're checking what's listed. Well, if it's listed, it means it hasn't sold for that price. So that's not a good gauge. So going to the sold comps and seeing the sold comps, but it's more than that. Looking at the sell-through rate. You know, if there's 100 of these listed and one sold, there's 100 of them listed and the average selling price is 50 bucks, or excuse me, the average listed price is 50 bucks. And there's one that sold for $22, one, and there's, you know, 200 listed, it's not going to sell, and it's certainly not going to sell for a new eBay reseller. So try to stick to items that have decent sell-through rates. You can kind of grow out of that over time if you learn the tricks of the trade. I do it all the time. I sell things that don't have high sell-through rates. I do it all the time, and depending on the item, there's different ways I can get that thing sold easier than somebody else can because I've been doing it so long. All right, and kind of in that same vein right there as well is oversourcing at the beginning. So don't buy too much at the beginning because eBay is going to throttle you anyways. You can only list so many as you start. So just start slow and don't do what I do. Don't buy the Tupperware that you're making $4 on. You know, go for those big hitters, or maybe go for the safe things that you know you can handle the shipping on early as you're learning. Okay, don't buy some, I bought today at a yard sale, I bought a giant reel-to-reel thing that weighs like 80 pounds. So I wouldn't suggest buying that for sure. But definitely don't overbuy at the beginning. Buy what you know. Definitely do your homework on the sold comps and the sell-through rates. And I think you'll find success, and you won't be one of the people sending me a message saying, hey, I'm new and I sell one thing a day and I've got 200 things listed. It's probably what you have listed and for what price you have it listed. All right, the next thing is about packaging, and I've known some resellers who just started out. I know them personally. Some of them are in my family, not immediate family, but in my family, and their very first sales broke. They broke in shipping. And, you know, the likelihood is that they didn't ship them very well. And we all do that from time to time. Even I have things break. I haven't had something break, knock on wood, in like a year. But it does happen from time to time. So there's a couple of solutions for you. One is my self-promotion here in the playlists. I do have certain shipping videos. I'm now putting them on the Commonwealth Auctions channel, but I used to put them on the Picker channel. Now they're on the, there's a playlist on the Flipper channel as well. And you know, I don't ship things perfectly. There's an example right there, Corningware. If you're going to start doing that stuff, you better really, really package it well and maybe even double box those things. Here's another video about our previous thing about how to make sure you're not losing money shipping. And so here's one on how to save money. This is how to cut corners, but how to do it safely. And this is how to package up some things fairly safely. And I don't do the best job on everything. I've been doing it a long time, and I do pretty darn good on it. You know, different things. If you're going to be selling china, you know, and glassware and stuff, Tim, over the years, does I think he's got a couple videos on how to package that stuff as well over there. So he's really good. Obviously, I love to use paper. Tons and tons of paper. I'll use different boxes. I'll double box. I've got the bubble wrap, the bigger bubble wrap, shameless plug, American Bubble Boy. But if you're new, you don't even need that just yet. Just go grab one. Although, bubble wrap is pretty cheap. American Bubble Boy link, link below. Speaking of shameless plugs, the #1 mistake people make is not having an Innovan. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, it really, really does get things moving out of your eBay store there. But in all seriousness, I can't believe to this day, a lot of you resellers out there will be like, you can't be serious. People aren't doing this. But let me tell you, I know people are doing this. I've talked to them. I've asked them. You know, they'll send messages that I know what they're doing. They're not shipping off of eBay. They're selling the item on eBay. They're writing down the address. They're going to the post office, and they're paying retail prices at the post office. And every time I see it, it hurts my soul because you're costing yourself so much money, so much effort, so much time, all of this. And if I was doing that, it would be very, very difficult for me to continue to do eBay just because of the time involved in the money you're making. So I have people send me stuff to the P.O. box all the time. And I realize I didn't buy something from them on eBay, but they pay retail postage prices when they send me things, because I see the price, I'm like, holy moly. And this is something that absolutely you should absolutely not do. Under any circumstances, don't pay retail prices. eBay giving you the discount. So before you start, make sure you have some kind of system to print it off. Now, they do the QR codes now, so even that's better, where you can take that and show them on your phone, and they'll give you the receipt. At the very least, if you don't have a printer or something, you can at least do that. I've never done that. Let me know in the comments if you have, if you like it. It seems like it'd be a bit of a hassle for me because I do so many items, but I suppose you could do a print-off sheet, or not a print-off sheet, but a sheet. I don't know how they do it. I should probably shut up since I don't know how they do it. Maybe y'all can tell me in the comments if you've been doing it a while. But even if, you know, when I send stuff out for Christmas, I'm not paying retail prices. There's a bunch of different options. I use Pirate Ship. But certainly use eBay. If you're selling on eBay, that is a huge mistake. Now, there's other mistakes that kind of fall under this category of paying too much for shipping. 1 cubic foot. 1 cubic foot. If it's bigger than that, you need to list your options as something other than priority mail. I had this conversation with somebody today I met out at a yard sale, and she says, you know, I bought a lawn chair, and I have this lawn chair, and I have this price on it, and it should be selling because there's other ones out there that have sold like that. The reason it's not selling is because it's listed as a priority mail option and not as FedEx or UPS, preferably UPS at this point for something that big. So if you have a big item that's over a cubic foot and you're putting priority mail as an option, very, very few people are going to be able to buy it depending on what the item is. So it is more about trying to find out an economical way for you, not only to ship for yourself, but to give your buyer a cheaper price. And so using the other options out there of UPS and FedEx right there, as you list the item, you know, don't, you know, there's first class, there's priority mail, there's medium mail, there's all these options. But the other options out there are UPS and FedEx. So you will very rarely sell a large item over a cubic foot, because the cost is just crazy using USPS. So I'll throw that in that category. So those are my top 5 mistakes. There are a lot more, of course, than that, even on my runners-up list. So if you have been reselling for a while, or if you haven't and you just started and you've made some mistakes and you're learning quickly, let's put them in the comments below and we can all learn from them a little bit. Or you can just tear up everything I said down there and yell at me. So at any rate, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for joining this family here. We appreciate each and every one of you all the time, and we can't wait to see you next time.